Alright, fin measurements. I use a measurement here of about 3.5 off the tail for my back fin and 11.5 for the side fins. And when I'm doing this, the back of the fin is going to be 11.5 inches up, but 1.5 inches in, and then 3.5 inches. I'm going to have another measurement, so the fin is actually going to have a toe in. So over 3.5 inches I'm going to put some measurements on there. At 11.5 inches I'm going to bring it in 1.5 inches, 11, and then I'm going to come up to there, and I don't want my fins parallel, so I'm actually going to pull them in 1/8 of an inch over that area there. So I'm going to put another dot in there and another dot in here. So the idea then is that 3.5 inches in here has a toe in of 1/8 of an inch. So when I put the fins in, the fins will actually point in towards the nose. It gives it the toe in. So the three actions of a fin are the flat on the inside, the foil on the outside pulls the fin just like a wing, and then the toe in makes the board turn, and then the cant, or the layout of the fin, makes the board lift. So there's a pull, a turn and a lift, and that's the whole action of the way thrusters sort of work. This is the toe in that makes the board do this, so that's why this part's really important. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just switch it on. So then the way this works, that just sits in perfectly flush like that, and I put a sheet of glass over the top of it. But I use resin in there, and that'll be our next step. I'm going to fill up these, or not fill them, but put a fair bit of resin in there, and then these get sort of pushed down level with the board, like that. They go off, and then when they've gone off, I then pull the plugs out. I'll pull this part out, and then I can glass over the top of them. So I'm going to do it in 3 sort of steps. A little bit of resin first. Don't want to make these mixes too hot, but I don't want to wait forever for them to go off either. And then I've just got to make sure they're all sitting at the right angle. So I want to make sure that that centre one is sitting perpendicular to the stringer. So if I just tip it up like that and have a look down my stringer line, the stringer should run straight up the back fins. My side fins should be laying out to the same angle. I put mine out to about 3 or 4 inches off the end of the nose. Got to be careful that you don't point them in and they cross over, and that becomes a problem, but you can bring them right in anywhere in this zone in here, and both of those should be about the same sort of angle. So this is where I start to use all my offcuts of glass. So I can just make up 3 little patches out of this, and these little patches will just sit out over the top of the plugs. And what I do is I just lay these pieces over the top. That last little bit there is just to make sure that there's no air bubbles just sitting around the the edges of the part we're going to sand off. As soon as that's gone off, I'm just going to filler coat the whole bottom of the board, and then just got to wait for a while until we can sand it.